Hello everyone and welcome to this online open day for London College of Communication. Today we are going to give you an overview of undergraduate media courses that we offer at LCC, which is our shorthand for London College of Communication. We will also introduce you to some of the services that we offer our students at LCC and go through some of the reasons that make LCC such a unique place to study. So I am Steve Brown and I'm the Senior Marketing Manager at LCC, and I'm joined here by Dex. Dex, would you like to say hello and introduce yourself?
Hey everyone, I'm Dex. I'm a second year BA advertising student and the president of the UAL Filipino Society. I'll just be helping out today by giving my perspective as a student. So if you have any student related questions, I'll be happy to answer them at the end.
So this is an open day for our media courses. The media courses are taught in LCC's Media School. They're listed here on the screen. So if you're interested in one or more of these courses, then you are in the right place. A little bit about the wider context of LCC. So LCC is a college, one of 6 colleges that comprise the University of the Arts London. The other 5 colleges being Central St Martin's, London College of Fashion, Camberwell College of Arts, Chelsea College of Arts, and Wimbledon College of Arts. And combined, we have over 19,000 students from across the world. We're a very diverse student body. We are currently ranked number 2 in the world for art and design by the QS World University Rankings. And the university has a very diverse community of staff, students, and alumni. We have an enormous and growing network of alumni as well. So we have 200,000 alumni who, again, are based in every corner of the world. UAL offers a number of support services to students, and being part of such a big university gives you access to a really broad range of services, whatever your needs. And we'll be talking about those later in this presentation. So a little bit about LCC. It's a big college based in Elephant and Castle. It is made up of 3 academic schools: design, media, and screen. And our core aim is to enable everyone who studies with us to develop the skills, the confidence, the knowledge, the experience, and the attitude, everything you need to be effective and innovative creators and to succeed in whatever field you choose to go into when you graduate. All our courses have creative communication at their heart. And across all of our courses, we encourage our students to explore the power of storytelling. So to create compelling narratives, to develop stories and narratives that will engage with audiences, so that you can develop a career that you're passionate about and that other people will respond to and be transformed by. We place a lot of importance on developing your technical and creative skills. From very close to day 1 of your studies, you'll be encouraged to develop your skills and to start making, to learn skills and to start applying those skills in creative contexts. And that will continue throughout your course. And it doesn't matter which course you do, you will have access to great technical spaces that are either essential to mastering your particular chosen discipline, or that are there to enhance your creativity with regard to whatever you're choosing to do, to broaden your scope and broaden your horizons. You will be encouraged to explore theory, research, and critical thinking. It's a very creative college, and we do emphasize practicality and practice, but we're also very much determined to let you understand the theory behind why you're doing something. So we want to give you an understanding of what underpins your discipline, and of how the industries you'll be working in operate. So it really is about developing your skills and your understanding. We'll encourage you to experiment, to push boundaries, and to innovate. We want to give you the insights, the theoretical knowledge, the confidence, and the critical thinking skills to be able to identify and tackle the key issues facing the creative industries so that you can help shape their future development. And we aim to give you the skills to adapt to changes in your chosen fields and to thrive in careers where dynamic change is a way of life and will continue to be a way of life. You'll be taught by experienced practitioners who have a wealth of professional experience in their fields and many of whom will continue to work professionally throughout your course. You will work with people who are actively involved in their industries and who will bring with them and to the course connections, perspectives, and insights that will support your employability. And we are based in Elephant and Castle, which is central London. So we're close to amazing businesses, cultural centres, and organisations that will support your learning and your student experience. So, as mentioned earlier, you are interested in the media courses, which are taught within the media school. And the students in the media school have what they have in common is they are passionate storytellers and they are actively engaged in various forms of media. And our graduates from media school graduate as confident content creators, but also confident collaborators. So people who can create content, who understand the power and what content how it can engage with audiences, and also to apply it in various contexts within industries. So media school has 3 programs. The programs are like departments within the school. There's a communications and media, journalism and publishing, and photography programs. And within those, each of those programs has postgraduate and undergraduate courses. The undergraduate courses here are highlighted in pink. And it's now time to start presenting those courses to you. So the first course is BA Advertising, and as Dex is a current BA Advertising student, I'm going to hand over to Dex to talk you through the course.
Hi everyone. So I chose to study advertising because to me this course was the ideal blend of business and art. So you learn a lot about strategy, you learn a lot about pushing your creativity, but I think you should know there is also a lot of sociology on this course too. So by that last part, I mean we learn and write about critical theories to do with matters like racism and feminism and ethics, all in the context of promotional media. So I personally love how this subject is so diverse in its topics, and sometimes you can choose your own classes, and we call this optional modules. I personally went for public relations related modules taught by the public relations department, but my classmates went for filmmaking modules or podcasting modules, for example. And as you'll see on the screen now, this course is still very practical and industry focused, so you will learn relevant advertising skills that may help you win prestigious creative awards like those by D&AD. You will also learn relevant advertising skills that may help you work for well-known organizations like Google. Now, our previous graduates have gone on to win these kinds of awards and work in these kinds of organizations. And an example of this practical learning in action is that we're given live briefs from industry professionals, and then we pitch our ideas back to them. So advertising would be a great course to take if you are interested in a quote-unquote corporate creative career, but it would also be a great subject to take if you want to learn how to advertise your own brand in the future.
Fantastic, thank you, Dex. So we're going to move on to BA Contemporary Media Cultures. So this course is designed to help students become experts in critical theories of media, to learn how the cultural and media industries work and how media and culture shape the world, so how they combine to shape the world. As a student on the course, you'll be encouraged to develop your practical skills to better understand media theory and the relationship between practice and theory. So there is practical elements on this course, but the practical elements are designed to help you to understand the theory that you're learning. Some of the practical skills you'll be able to develop include photography and filmmaking, and you can also work on creating and sharing content for web-based media platforms. The course has a heavy focus on exploring today's cultural and media landscape, and you'll engage with this by studying historical perspectives in order to understand how the contemporary media landscape has developed and possibly where it's going to go to next. The course content includes a number of case study-led units, so you'll explore loads of real-world examples in order to better understand media and cultural theory. Overall, the course aims to develop your understanding of key practical skills involved in the production of different media in order to produce work that responds to issues that are central to the theories and debates that you'll study. So you'll graduate both as a critical thinker, but also as a critical practitioner. The course offers loads of opportunities for you to engage in collaborative projects with students on your course, as well as students from other courses in the media school. You'll also have chances to work with industry figures and organizations in the media and cultural industries. So this kind of this engagement with industry is a really valuable experience for our students, and it should really help you to develop personal and professional skills. It's going to help you develop networks and networks with other professionals, and it's also going to give you a wide range of industries and careers and specialisms that you'll be able to get an experience of, so that you'll be able to explore multiple career paths. There's also an industry-based speaker series during years 1 and 2, where industry professionals come in and give you talks and share their insights. Graduates from this course have gone on to pursue careers across the media and creative industries, including marketing, advertising, and communication management. So if you're interested in theory and writing, and if you're passionate about media and culture, or maybe if you're not quite sure which career path within the media industries you want to pursue, then this course could well be a good course to consider. So the next course is Media Communications. Okay, so Media Communications is an interdisciplinary course that touches on a range of areas such as sociology, psychology, business, and politics. But the one area that brings it all together is the emphasis the course places on digitization. We live in a digital era, so the course has a strong focus on the relationship between society, culture, and digital media platforms. The course will give you a wide range of relevant transferable skills, so you'll be ready to join a constantly evolving media industry that is looking for people who are flexible and have a wide range of skills and are very adaptable to the changings in these landscapes. So students on the course develop critical thinking skills with a focus on how media communications work and affect the world. But you'll also be equipped with a series of practical skills in areas such as photography, filmmaking, design, broadcasting, and podcasting. Through the course, you will do theory, but you will also do practical units. So there's roughly a 70% theory and 30% practical element balance between the course. So the practical elements are learning the skills you need to deliver media communications across various different media. Much like contemporary media cultures, the mix of theory and practice ensures that you'll be fully equipped to take up a career in a wide range of different industries, using a broad range of different media. So as with all our courses, you'll have plenty of opportunities for collaboration, and in year 3, you'll work on a live brief on behalf of an external client in order to create a media communications campaign, so a real campaign for a real organization. This course would suit someone who's looking for something broad in scope, to gain a wide range of skills and understanding of a wide range of media channels in order to go into a variety of areas after graduating. The main difference between contemporary media cultures and media communications is that contemporary media cultures prepare students with the skills needed to critically analyze the way different media industries work, whereas media communications focuses more on the social and cultural impacts of digital media, such as social media and interactive media. So the next course is BA Public Relations. So back over to you, Dex.
So as our courses are very collaborative, I did choose to take a lot of PR talk classes for my optional modules. And PR teaches students how brands communicate to their audience and how reputations are formed and maintained. It is very creative though. In all my PR classes, we've essentially had to find creative solutions to a brand problem, but just execute them in a strategic and kind of business-minded way. Like all the other courses in the Communications and Media program, PR students also study theory to do with sociology, psychology, and anthropology. And through this mix of creative practices and academic theory, PR students learn how to create communications plans, to manage reputations, and to build relationships. They then apply this knowledge to practical briefs that mimic scenarios found in the industry. So some examples of PR modules are branding and digital marketing and media relations. I actually took these modules, so just to give you an idea of what the course is like, I'll let you know what I did in these classes. Now, in branding and digital marketing, I learned how to create a communications plan for a brand of my choice. So I identified potential client problems and established recommendations for solutions, one of which was a plan for a VR pop-up art exhibition. And in the media relations module, which I'm taking right now, we will be doing a live assignment where we're given a crisis situation for a brand and we have to respond to it as though we are a PR firm. So we have to write a press release and develop a social media campaign and plan for an interview, for example. Now, our PR grads typically get a job in the PR and marketing industries or work as consultants, but with all the transferable skills taught, you are able to go into various fields like potentially journalism once you graduate.
Fantastic, thank you, Dex. So the next course is BA Journalism. So on BA Journalism, you'll gain skills and experience in all aspects of multimedia journalism and also have the chance to specialize in an area that you decide is most suited to your particular interests. So in year one, you'll gain a grounding in journalistic practice and theory. And in years 2 and 3, this is when you choose to specialize in one of 2 different directions, print and online, or audio and video. So this choice between these 2 ways of delivering journalism and exploring journalism is something that's a key feature of the course at LCC. Also in year 3, whichever pathway you choose to follow, you'll gain experience working collaboratively on a high quality, externally facing multimedia publication called Artifact Magazine. If you follow the print and online journalism pathway, you'll gain experience writing content for online and print channels. You'll learn to write like a journalist as opposed to a way you may have written in the past. So you will learn to create content that is journalistic rather than maybe slightly more academic or some of the other ways you've written in the past. If you follow the audio and video journalism pathway, you will learn broadcast skills. So you'll gain experience in using anything from a smartphone to a fully equipped professional broadcast studio to record, film, and edit content. You'll also be taught how to use digital editing software to make what you produce as professional as possible. Alongside the practical classes, the course offers a critical exploration of journalism practice and theory. So throughout the course, you'll study the development of journalism, its history, and how we've got to where we are today. The theoretical side of the course also explores technological advances and modern day issues such as fake news and the role of social media in news. The course will offer you the opportunity to explore your own ideas and interests within journalism, as I said. So there will be flexibility, and the tutors will be really keen to encourage you to bring your own ideas and your own interests to enrich the course for everyone. There's a huge focus on your employability and ensuring you make a network of contacts to help develop your career. In year 2, there's a professional practice unit, which will help you gain real life experience. And it'll give you 10 days or more, perhaps, working in industry. And the course generally has really strong connections to industry, so that, that there is a lot of opportunities for you to engage with industry, including regular guest speakers, and there's also opportunities for mentorships, so being mentored by someone in industry. Specialist facilities include fully equipped newsroom. You will also have access to a TV studio to record your discussions if you're on that broadcast pathway. And you'll also have access to broadcast studio, radio newsrooms, so you'll be able to deliver radio bulletins and podcasts. The course will prepare you for a variety of careers. You may end up as a professional journalist. You could work on the PR side of, so promoting stories to journalists rather than actually writing them yourself. You may become a broadcast journalist, or you may decide to specialize in video production. As you can see from the slide, our graduates have gone on to many successful careers in a wide range of leading media organizations. The next course is magazine journalism and publishing. So magazine journalism and publishing combines practical and technical skills in journalism, editing, production, and it also combines that with giving you a really professional understanding of the business of publishing, the process of how to publish the work you create. So you'll learn how to create a magazine, from coming up with the initial idea to commissioning people to make that idea a reality. You'll learn about the production process of magazines across a range of different mediums, print and digital. So you'll get to understand what's involved in producing a magazine, as well as how to monetize and sell the work you create. And it's this hands-on experience of making magazines across both print and digital platforms, and having the knowledge of the entire production process, which makes this course different to most traditional journalism degrees. Units on this course will allow you to learn the core skills of effective storytelling. You'll explore tools and techniques involved in magazine design, from typography, picture editing, page layout. You will learn through case studies, studying really particular deep cases that you'll learn. You'll deepen your knowledge of the magazine industry, and you'll delve into the business side. As with BA Hons journalism, students come from a range of academic backgrounds. In terms of its student profile, the course is looking for applicants who have a real interest in magazines, but magazines that could take many different forms. They don't have to be written or digital magazines. It could also include other means of sharing work, including podcasts, for example. Collaboration on this course is key, and it's a really important part of the course, but it mirrors how important it is within the publishing industry. In year 2, you'll gain real-life commercial experience working for an external client. So you will be put into teams which collaborate. Those teams will have specific roles and responsibilities, provide research, analysis, concept generation, and communication in order to produce a final publishing solution for your client. Another way to gain industry insight is through the course's industry mentorship scheme, and you'll also have access to regular guest speakers from publications including The Guardian, Vice, and Elle magazine. As a student on the course, you'll complete many of your workshops in our newsroom. That's a fully equipped and industry standard space with computers that have all of the software you need to develop your work. You'll also benefit from the college's kit room, where you can borrow a range of technical equipment. You can use the digital space, where you'll be able to hone your Photoshop skills. And you'll also have access to some photography studios. So you'll be able to take images for your magazines. One of the really key things about LCC is you will be studying with other creatives. So there's also many opportunities for you to reach out to creatives across a broad range of disciplines to collaborate on your magazines. You'll also have access to a bookbinding facility, so you can learn how to create beautiful artifacts and printed magazines. Our graduates are working as journalists, publishers, researchers, and creatives in media planning. Some go into design and production roles in both traditional and new media publishing, and some have gone on to work in marketing positions. Okay, so now we're going to move on to our third program, which is the program, the photography program. So the first course within the photography program I'm going to introduce is a new course for 2023, BA Commercial Photography. The image on the screen here shows a production still from a campaign that students on the BA Photography course produced for Converse last year. And it was collaborations with commercial brands such as this that gave rise to this course. And it's a course obviously that focuses on the commercial application of photography. So BA Commercial Photography is designed for students who want to develop professional photographic skills in order to create images that will be used in commercial contexts. But more than that, the course will encourage you to experiment and to learn innovative and cutting-edge photographic techniques. So you will gain the critical as well as the practical skills to challenge and to redefine what a commercial image actually is. Developing your technical skills is a big part of this course. You'll be guided through the process of professional image planning, production, and delivery by exploring core and specialist skills in areas such as camera work, lighting, moving image, production design, creative collaboration, and post-production techniques. You'll develop problem-solving and creative business skills, and you'll learn how to produce multi-channel visual stories through industry collaborations that will challenge you to produce innovative responses to real-world briefs. You'll also explore new techniques and visual approaches in areas such as 2D and 3D imaging, cinematic production, social media content production, motion graphics. So you will go beyond the creating static 2D images and explore a really wide range of expressions and of image making. You'll have opportunities to create images for a wide range of applications and industries, including advertising, branding, art practice, fashion, social media influencing, and platform building, as well as social enterprise. And you'll develop an understanding of how these previously disparate areas and disciplines are becoming increasingly blurred and interrelated. As you progress through the course, you'll become as comfortable with independent exploration as you are with on-set collaboration, graduating as an adaptive researcher, maker, producer, and disruptor of traditional creative thinking. There are a vast number of commercial contexts you'll be able to work in, areas as diverse as live events, music videos, fashion, art direction, advertising, and installation art. The course is currently subject to validation, which means that it's being developed, and we're hoping for it to be fully developed and no longer subject to validation later this academic year. Okay, so the next course is BA Photography. So a key feature of BA Photography is that it's a multi-genre course. So it really encompasses all aspects of photographic practice. The course values differences in the sense that you can be an aspiring advertising, fashion, or fine art photographer, or even a photojournalist. Through tutorials and seminars, as well as through collaborating with classmates with different approaches to photography, you will continually develop to be a more versatile practitioner. The course will also challenge you to rethink what photography is and to really challenge yourself to expand your creative limits. The course combines theory and practice, so you'll learn to write convincingly about the things you're interested in, and you will be able to apply your creative thinking to your practical work. Collaboration is a key element of the course, and after graduation you're more than likely to go into to work with a wide variety of creatives, so it's really important you understand and you have experience of collaborating with them. So you will learn to collaborate with stylists, gallery owners, art directors, and this collaboration and this emphasis on collaboration is embedded into the course from year one onwards. Some students join the course with a high level of technical skills, and others will have never studied photography before. Through practical workshops, the course will ensure everybody gets to the same technical level. So don't worry if you don't have the technical skills yet. We're looking for people with really strong ideas. The facilities at LCC are outstanding. You're likely to spend a lot of your time improving your technical knowledge in the darkroom. Regardless of which course you do in photography, the darkroom and the photography studios are fantastic. You will have technicians who will teach you how to develop within those dark rooms. They will also have a film developing service that they can do for you. You'll also have access to dedicated and well-equipped photography studios. There's a kit room where you can hire equipment, including really high-end cameras for free. And you will also have access to lighting kits, lenses, sound equipment, whatever you need to complete the work. There's a huge variety of options open to you after graduating from BA Photography. The obvious one is to become a photographer, whether that's a fine art or fashion or commercial photographer. But you could also potentially pursue a career as an art buyer, a picture editor, an art director, or a publisher. So the last course is BA Photojournalism and Documentary Photography. So on this course, you'll develop your unique identity as a visual storyteller. You will learn skills from across this rapidly changing and dynamic industry, from news photography and current events to conceptual documentary, editorial, and multimedia. Similar to the BA Photography course and the commercial photography course, we will encourage you to develop your voice as a visual storyteller. But you'll also explore how this visual storytelling works with text and moving image. So year one is focused on building upon your basic technical skills. You'll identify, research, shoot and edit a series of photographic images within a particular genre of documentary or photojournalistic image making. Unlike BA Photography, this course is less focused on the technical side of photography and instead interested more in the content and presentation of your work and the stories you're telling and how your images are supporting the telling of a wider narrative. There are plenty of workshops for you to attend to develop your technical skills. You'll have access to an outstanding range of facilities, which I talked about earlier. The darkroom is both, we have black and white darkroom as well as color darkroom. There's also a digital suite, so scanning your work and creating and processing and post-production is a very important part of the course as well. Years 2 and 3 build on the foundations established in year 1. So you will have the opportunity to begin to develop and contextualize your own practice by working on more open and self-directed assignments via both practice and theory and written work. Practice-based learning activities are supported by a grounding in the history and theory of photojournalism and documentary photography. So you will develop your critical engagement not only as a photographer, but also as a viewer and a participant in visual culture. You will delve into the key historical and social issues surrounding photojournalism and documentary photography, all the way from the earliest stages of this genre's development all the way to the present day. There's a diverse range of students on the course. Typically, students will arrive straight from school or college. Some may have taken a year out, and others will probably have established some kind of background in photography before they start the course. Most importantly, if you're a person who thinks in critical and visual ways, and if you're engaged in current affairs, you strive to keep up to date with what's going on in the world and your local area and your community, and if you're committed to pursuing a combination of creative pursuits and really delving into the theoretical underpinnings of the work you create, and you have stories you want to tell, then this course could be for you. So that's the last of the courses in the Media School. Just a couple of notes on some other opportunities for you. So the Diploma in Creative Computing is open to all undergraduate students at University of the Arts London, whatever course you do. It's an optional year-long opportunity which allows you to develop the computational skills that are shaping the future of the digital creative industries. On successful completion of the diploma and the final year of your undergraduate degree, you'll graduate with an enhanced degree title. So for example, it'll be BA Hons Journalism, and then in brackets, with creative computing. So you'll have with creative computing at the end of your degree title. Another option, as an LCC student, you might you will have an opportunity, depending on which course you study, to do the Diploma in Professional Studies. So this is a year-long learning opportunity which enables some students each year to develop their professional skills by undertaking a variety of placements and industry experiences. Supported throughout the year by academics, you will build on your knowledge gained on your course in a range of national or international locations. So this is taken between years 2 and 3. Up until quite recently, it was only available to design school students, but we're expanding the program to cover all undergraduate courses. So our aim is for all media courses to have the diploma available by 2024. Photography, photojournalism and commercial photography might launch in 2025. That might be a little bit later, but there's a good chance, certainly for many of you here that are thinking of applying, that there will be opportunities to do this year in industry when you reach the end of year 2. Okay, so I'm just going to talk a little bit about our facilities. As you can see on this slide, LCC offers a wide range of facilities that are open to students from all different countries. In all these areas, you can find technicians who are always there to help you use the equipment and help you figure out how best to produce or visualize your projects. So, for example, if you have a photography project that you'd like to visualize in, for example, VR, but you have no idea about this technology, you can go and see a technician and they will work with you to make your vision a reality. For some areas or equipment, for example, in the 3D workshop or lithographic printing, you'll need to book an induction before you can use that area. But you can do that with the technical staff, and it's pretty easy to get that induction done. You can book workshops in all of these areas. So if you have some time between submissions or you want to learn some more techniques, you can always do that and meet students from other courses and just widen your creative practice. So it's a great way to expand your creative toolkit and get new ideas on how you could visualize and create your projects. Okay, so we're going to move on to employability, and Dex, I'm going to hand over to you. So maybe you could share some of what LCC has offered you in terms of employability and your experiences of developing your employability.
So at LCC, we have or UAL in general, we have a dedicated careers and employability department, which offers practical support in helping students and alumni find work. So they give advice on CVs, cover letters, and even help you search for jobs. They also have a really great newsletter I'd recommend, where they send out creative opportunities and job listings. UAL also has an online interview simulator tool, which gives sample questions, interview scenarios, and further advice to help you with interviews. At LCC specifically, we have this zone dedicated to placements, careers, and enterprise, which we call the place. And all UAL students and alumni, I believe, can apply to be a student ambassador for both UAL and the LCC campus through Arts Temps. So this is an organisation dedicated to providing UAL students with paid work within UAL. As an LCC student ambassador and a UAL student ambassador, I'm offered jobs that fit my student schedule, and I can choose whether or not I take them on. As a society president, I'd also like to take this opportunity to talk about being in societies, which are basically just student clubs. Being part of a society committee just gives you a leadership role and potential experience to add to your CV. But simply joining a society can open a lot of doors for you in terms of employability. A lot of societies are career focused, for example, like we do have an advertising society, we do have a fashion marketers society. So you're able to network with people in your field while attending industry talks and events hosted by these societies. For my society specifically, the Filipino Society, I've recently helped to create an internship program open only to my members and members of partner societies. So this internship program is in partnership with a big business group whose CEO graduated from my course, actually, advertising at UAL. So although my society is more socially and culturally focused, my members still have this great opportunity to increase their employability if they so choose.
Thanks, Dex. The next theme is student support, and I'm going to hand back over to you for that one.
Sure, so all UAL students have access to confidential and free student services on all the matters that you see here on the screen. Some services are also available for prospective students. For example, if you're wondering what financial aid you can get to study at UAL, you can email student support for advice. We have an academic support team who runs very regular workshops and one-to-one sessions that can help you with things like essay writing or referencing. The academic support team works with the peer mentoring service, which partners first-year students with either second or third-year students from their course. Though I didn't join the peer mentoring scheme, I know people who did, and they described it as just having an extra friend who can give you very specific advice about your course. Now, UAL also has disability advisors, dyslexia coordinators, and special tutors to help remove any barriers in your studies. I know someone who had a tutor for their ADHD, and they described the experience as having someone dedicated to helping you out in terms of handling uni work with your neurodivergence. So for more information on all things student support, please do head to the Student Services page on the UAL website.
Lovely. Thanks so much, Dex. And as a student, I'm hoping you're going to have lots of great insights about your learning experience. So could you give us some thoughts on that?
Of course. So at UAL, we have a mix of online and offline learning. Typically, you'd have a pre-recorded lecture that you'd watch online alongside on-site lectures. You'd almost always have in-person classes though, and we call those seminars. In preparation for an assignment, you'd have one-to-one or small group sessions called tutorials, which can be online or offline. Contact hours do vary, and for specific contact hours, I'd recommend watching course-specific open days that are available now on YouTube. But from my experience with helping edit course-specific open day videos, most courses have more or less 3 days dedicated to teaching lectures or seminars. The rest of the week, you're expected to be working towards your assignments or getting through the course materials. So that might be essential readings and additional readings. When you take certain modules, for example, film, which some of my advertising classmates took, your contact hours may increase as, of course, you'd be shooting and editing content over time. But in first year, your contact hours will typically be higher as you adjust to the more independent style of learning that everyone has at uni. In second and third year, though, that's supposed to decrease as you learn how to work more independently. Now, I personally love working independently and online, but a lot of my friends aren't like that. A lot of them need someone in front of them to do work or need to be in a school environment to even touch their assignment. And I think UAL does cater to that with on-site sessions and, as I previously explained, tutors for neurodiversity. We also have areas dedicated to work. So the library, for example, has an area for group work. They also have an area for silent work. And there's computers everywhere, all over campus, with installed softwares ranging from Photoshop to Pro Tools to Toon Boom for any aspiring animators, for instance. So UAL and universities in general does give you the tools you need, but it's down to you to kind of pick them up and to use them. Your learning experience will definitely be more independent in uni, and I do think that's great. This is the time where we get to have much more of a say in how we work.
Thank you, Dex. So yeah, just a couple of thoughts on our accommodation. So we have halls of residence. They're available to all students who have been offered a place on a course at UAL. So living in halls is a great way to experience living independently and to make friends outside of your course. When applying, you will select 5 different halls of residence, and we will try to place you in one of your top 5 halls, but we can't guarantee this will be possible. The earlier you submit your application, the most likely you'll get one of your choices. You might, on the other hand, choose to rent private accommodation or choose to live at home. And our accommodation service will be able to help you find suitable rented accommodation if required. Dex, could you give us your experience of kind of the social aspects of Hall's life and the social program?
Sure, so I live in private accommodation now, and I used to commute as I'm from London, but I am familiar with that social aspect of UAL.com. So the social aspect is known as UAL Social Program, which is ran by students in UAL halls. Many of their events are for the students in UAL accommodation, and these events may take place in UAL hall common rooms, for example, but UAL Social Program also has events for all students. So last term, for example, they had a winter carnival complete with stalls and games, but they have a constantly updated list of upcoming events on the UAL website under the title Hall's Life, if you'd like to check that out.
Thanks, Dex. So finally, just a note to say, even though the UCAS deadline has passed, you can currently still apply to all of our undergraduate courses for 2023. So if you do plan to apply, I'd really recommend you do this quickly, as some courses are likely to close relatively soon. All applications will need a personal statement, and for courses within our photography program, you'll also need to submit a portfolio, which we request after you make your initial application. Dex, do you have any advice about how to write a great personal statement?
Sure, so what I did is I looked on the course specific page on the UAL website. Under the Apply Now heading, there should be some personal statement advice specifically for that course. So if that advice states teamwork is important, for example, make sure you describe how you worked in the team in your personal statement. If the advice states that an interest in technology or future-facing technology is desired, maybe describe your familiarity with relevant technology and how you've worked with it. Maybe that's AR, VR, or just things like Photoshop. So they do advise you of what they'd like to see on these course-specific pages. So I'd advise you to take that advice and just run with it.
Thanks, Dex. That's great advice. Thank you. So that's it. That's the end of our presentation. I've got one more slide which has some email contacts. So if you've got any kind of specialist kind of inquiries for accommodation, student support, which may include disability support, scholarships and fees, or admissions, then make a note of these email addresses and drop them an email, and they'll be really happy to get back to you. But in the meantime, we might have some questions from you guys. So if you do have any questions, just a reminder, type them in the questions box. And Becky, my colleague, should be somewhere out there. If you could put your mic on, we'll be really happy to answer any questions you can find in the questions box.
Hi, Steve. We have got a couple of questions actually, so I'll just throw them your way. Are there any in-person open days coming up that people can attend before they apply?
For UG courses, we will have undergraduate open days, but they will probably happen after you need to apply. As I just said, if you do want to apply, then I'd really encourage you to do so quickly. Rest assured, there are opportunities to visit LCC. So we have open days that we will be holding in the summer term. We haven't announced those dates yet, but they will be happening towards the end of May and June. The good thing about those events is they will coincide with our degree show. So you should have a chance to see some of our amazing student work that will be on show at the same time. But I realize that's a few months away. So the best thing I would recommend is number one is if you go onto our open days pages for LCC, you'll see opportunities to do college tours, and they're held throughout the term time on Tuesdays and Fridays at 3. So although they're not open days, they will give you a chance to see our facilities and get a real feel for the college. And the other thing to reassure you is if you make an application and we make an offer to you, you will be invited to an offer holder day. So they are invite only, they're specifically for offer holders. But if you do get an offer, we will invite you to one of our events. They are held in April and May. So there are opportunities to visit the college. And I should also say, if you want to seize the facilities, there's other opportunities to see them, not quite in person, but virtually. So have a look at our virtual open day, for example, where you can get a real feel for all of the spaces within the college.
Lovely. And we've also had a question about portfolios and what kind of portfolios are the photography department expecting?
So the photography portfolios, we ask for 20 files. I'm going to say I think we may call them images, but just bear in mind that they're not singular images. So you can put lots of images on a single file, and we need 20 of them maximum. And what we want to see is your ideas, your creativity, the way you critically engage with your subject, your aesthetic sensibility, perhaps your influences. It would be far better for us to see some of the more recent work that you've produced. We would tend to see the most recent work you produce will probably be the best work to showcase your potential. We're really happy to see your initial ideas and how they develop. We love to see a creative journey and for that to be shown within your portfolio. And we're also really happy to see some textual descriptions of what you've put together and why you've done it. So the main thing we want to see your creativity and your ideas and your passion. We don't need to see your technical specialism. You don't have to be technically excellent yet. That's our job to get you there. But we really want to see potential and ideas and a really kind of active engagement in your subject.
Lovely. And when can people apply for 2024 entry?
That's a good question. For 2024, I don't know actually if a date has even been announced yet. So I might have to consult with my admissions colleagues for that one. But yeah, I think it's great that you're thinking of applying early. Rest assured, you've got plenty of time, first of all, to do the research you need to do. And second of all, to make sure that you've still got time to develop yourself and to develop your interests, to make that application you make when you need to make it as high quality as possible. But in terms of the exact date, I'm afraid I can't give you that, but I will promise I will find out for you and get back to you in an email.
Okay, lovely. And we've just had a follow-up about the portfolio work. Does it have to be completely independent from schoolwork, or can it integrate with school content too?
I thought you were going to ask, can it be part of a collaboration? And in that sense, I think that certainly independent work is the best. So try and find work that is uniquely yours rather than something that you contributed to in a project. But no, it's as long as it's work that you created and work that best showcases your creative abilities and creative potential, then that's what we'd like to see.
Lovely. And someone else asked, is it feasible to work while studying a BA, to combine both things?
Well, I can say, like, very broadly, it is. And then there's the question of to what extent and how many hours. And obviously my advice is to put your studies at the utmost importance. You know, that should always be your priority. But there are lots of opportunities to work, and there you would have some flexibility there. Dex, do you have any thoughts on that side of things?
Yes, I definitely say it's possible as long as you can manage your time really well. So for me, it is a big workload because not only do I have work in uni, but I also have societies and other commitments I have in terms of creative commitments outside of uni. But I think the best thing for you is definitely look into arts temps, definitely look into those kind of jobs that you can choose. I believe they're called 0-hour jobs, contracts, that you can choose your own shifts. So you could kind of base your schedule off of your uni schedule, because again, it is a full-time degree and it can be demanding. I will definitely say that with whatever course you choose to do, I do recommend looking at course-specific open days. Like with photography, on those course-specific open days, you can hear the course leader for photography really talk about portfolios in depth, for example, and they're all available on YouTube now. And I have seen some course leaders kind of warn that their course might be a little bit more intensive in terms of contact hours. I don't know if any of you are looking into film also, but if you are, for example, I remember seeing that course leader talk about how you will be spending a lot of time shooting and editing outside of the seminars and the lectures. So I think it is definitely feasible, but it's all up to you and your time management.
Perfect, thank you. And we have a question about the cost of living in London, and do you have any advice about that subject?
In terms of financing studies, yeah, that's a good question. I mean, London has a reputation of being expensive for a reason, but there are certainly lots of ways in which you can budget. There are cheap ways of navigating around the city. Obviously, with the Boris bikes, we're very centrally located, so quite close to central London. With the big caveats that Dex has given in terms of time commitments, but there are lots of opportunities within UAL and beyond to work and to fund your studies that way. And some financial support is available. So I think if you want some advice on what additional support might be available, I would get in touch with the scholarships and fees team at the email on the slide. But yeah, London is expensive, You get a lot of incredibly rich experience studying in London. It is more expensive than some other cities in the UK, but there are ways of making your money go further than you might think. How about you, Dex? What are your thoughts?
I'd like to share that there is on YouTube right now a previous student panel video that I did. And in that video, there is a lot more in-depth advice about budgeting in London. In case you guys don't want to look that up, I believe there was advice on making a spreadsheet based on all of your expenses, all of your spending. I know that's like, it's long, but it does help you see your expenditure and help you see what you can cut down on. Student discounts are really important. So most places do have student discounts. Don't be afraid to ask if they do. The coffee shop across LCC has student discounts. For my society, which was free to join this year, we have exclusive discounts for even more culinary experiences, right? So definitely look into societies that offer extra discounts, but also look at things like student beans and uni days that offer student discounts anyway, entirely for free. You sign up for these organizations entirely for free. But yes, for more in-depth advice, please look up LCC student panel.
Lovely, thank you. And final question we've had is about deferrals. Can people defer this year?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's if you apply, you're very welcome to, and you're made an offer, you're very welcome to defer until the following year. Yeah, I don't know if there's a limit on how many deferrals we will take, but certainly at the moment that's fine.
Lovely, and that's all the questions. Thank you, Steve and Dex.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Becky. Well, thanks to all of you for joining us today. I'm sure it's quite a lot of information to take in. There's lots of a wealth of information out there as well. So this hopefully will be the start of your journey really with us. And Dex has pointed you in the direction to a few really great videos as well. But if you go onto our website on YouTube, you'll see lots of great videos and lots of information about our courses, but also about how to apply, how to submit a really great portfolio. So I'd really recommend you checking those out. And yeah, good luck in the coming months with whatever you choose to do. And we really hope to see you at LCC later down the line. And thanks, Dex. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, everyone.
Take care, everyone. I'm going to end the session now. Thank you.